Nothing is true. Everything is permitted.
We work in the shadows to serve the light.
This is the Assassin's Creed.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the MTG Thoughtcast, your favorite podcast about all things Commander, Magic, and today, Universes Beyond related. As aforementioned, we're talking about Assassin's Creed, which is a new booster set that's coming out for the game Magic the Gathering. But before we dive into it, my name's Joseph. I'm one of the hosts here at the MTG Thoughtcast. Somewhere else on the screen is my brother in blood, my own Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, John Kendall.
Oh, God.
Ooh,
Enter the Brotherhood. Hey there.
Oh, God, you just assassinated me with that.
Ooh,
Whatever.
And the man I assassinate with jokes, Jared Bobier. How's it going, buddy?
I deserve it because I also make some of the worst jokes you've ever heard in your life.
It's true.
All the time.
It is true.
And not like bad jokes, but like just bad jokes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
100%.
Anyway,
Yes.
I'm doing great.
Well, that makes us the hosts of the MTG Thoughtcast, and that makes you the listener. Real quick, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Spotify now, we have an audio-only version available there. Or I guess if you're listening to it, you're already there. So thanks for listening on Spotify. Couple quick ways to support the show. If you want to see our faces on your feed or our voices in your ears more often. On YouTube, you can leave us a like, a comment, and a subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm. We just crossed over 200 subscribers recently, which is a huge milestone for us. So
Yeah,
thanks for
insane.
everybody for being here. If you're listening on Spotify, drop us a 5-star review. That actually more than anything helps so much with the algorithm and getting us on more For You pages. So thank you for all the support that we've gotten. It's been so sweet to see everybody and get to hang out. And speaking of hanging out, if you want direct access to us, you want deck advice, you want bad jokes, you want combos, drop into our Discord. It's linked down below. Another totally free thing just to come and hang out with us. We're there all the time. So thanks for doing all of that. Now that we're out of the way of all of that, we can talk about Assassin's Creed, the new Universes Beyond set for Magic. John, will you take us away with some notes and stuff about the Assassin's Creed set?
The notes and stuff. I know you can count on me for that. Yeah, so we're here with another new Universes Beyond product. This one's coming out in a different new one. This is a new first release of kind of how this kind of style of set is coming out, right? Because everything previous that we have had for like purchasable Universes Beyond has either been standalone commander decks like Fallout and Doctor Who and Warhammer, or it's been a full-scale booster release like with Fallout, or not Fallout, excuse me, Lord of the Rings,
Yes.
and like next year's Final Fantasy and stuff like that. So this is a new type of like segue to buy into. It's like a weird, like it's Aftermath. This is what we're
Yes.
getting at here. The Aftermath was the introduction of the new Epilogue booster, which did not do very well. I know you. I know, Joseph, you're still a fan of the cards. I know you are, but its overall release did not do well.
Right. Which
Suffice
I think
to
is
say.
too many. Oh, go ahead,
The
Jared.
worst. Isn't it the worst like performing set of all time?
It was definitely the worst performing set this year. And they heard that loud and clear and have been trying to course correct from a lot of that because Outlaws of Thunder Junction was also supposed to have an epilogue booster set, but the Aftermath was so poorly reviewed that it just got turned into an extra slot in the booster and just put in. That was the big score. And obviously, since there's different contracts with Universes Beyond stuff, I think they just had to go through with releasing this as the epilogue boosters as we're seeing now.
What they have done differently, though, however, is like as to not exactly call these epilogue boosters. Like this was probably always going to be called Beyond boosters, just because this is coming from an IP that isn't Magic itself. But the packs themselves, they went up front and they did say this about these packs here, is that their contents, what you can get from them was modified to basically give you higher odds and like more likelihood of getting good things, I guess, right? Like the sort of like the juice that you can get into it is closer to what you would see now with a play booster, but with the amount of content as if it were an epilogue booster.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So like what I mean by that is a Beyond booster for Assassin's Creed gives you only 7 cards in the pack, but of those 7 cards, 3 of them are uncommon, 1 will be a rare. You get a foil in it, but that foil can be any rarity. You get a non-foil or a foil of a special art treatment of a card, also can be any rarity. So packs can open 3-4 rares sometimes.
Yeah. It's like they've combined the play boosters with the epilogue set.
Mm-hmm.
Could they make it more confusing, though? Could we possibly have a more confusing rollout of something?
Right.
Oh, wait. Yes, we can, because there's collector boosters as well.
Yeah, and those have the same sort of, the same like flow chart of things. You can get uncommons, you can get foil alternate uncommons, etched foil uncommons, foil etched rares, mythic, extended, scene cards.
This is why I don't buy sealed product, because I literally like, it's like you are taking a permanent university class to like keep up with what.
Yeah.
Is
Not to
happening.
be too like old man shakes fists at clouds, but like I loved going and getting a pack where I was like, I know exactly what's going to be in here. 1 rare, 3 uncommons, and a bunch of commons. And now it's like, okay, there's going to be about 15 different alternate arts for each card, and some of them are in these boosters, and there's some of them that are in these ones.
Yeah. Now there's not a ton of that amongst these boosters here, because like the entire set is roughly 110-ish unique cards, give or take, and all of those are uncommon or higher. So there's no real jank of like draftable, because this is not a draftable product if that was not given out the gate as well. This is like the epilogue boosters where you just purchase it and it is just juiced up cards plus reprints at uncommon and higher.
Dude, I wish they had made this draftable. It would have been such a cool thing to draft.
Would have been sick.
Like that would
going
be awesome.
Yeah, like combining the pages of history and like as fun like draft experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, enough about what could have been. So the set itself, John, correct me if I'm wrong, is printed directly into Modern. So it's
correct.
Not a standard legal set, but it is legal in Modern, including the reprints in this set. Because you said there's about 110 unique cards. There is some really cool reprints in this set as well.
Yes, there are. Yes, everything.
Well,
this is the kind of joke about this is that this is kind of Horizons 3.5, more or less. Everything that's being printed that you can open from the booster packs is Modern legal, and if they aren't already Modern legal, like reprints like Terminate and Path to Exile, those are already in Modern, whatever. But anything new that was printed in here, like Black Market Connections and Cover of Darkness and Reconnaissance, those are brand new to Modern.
I wanted to talk about exactly 2 of those. So Black Market Connections right now is sitting, at the time of recording, sitting about $21. So it's really nice to have a new printing of that. And then Cover of Darkness, the last time that it was printed was Onslaught. So it is a $45 card that is being reprinted as a rare in the set. Very, very exciting. And then Recon has been sitting $14, $15 for a long time. So it's really nice to get that as a reprint at uncommon. It's unbelievable. For the first time, it has the reminder text that is the cool combat trick that you can do with it. So Reconnaissance is a 1-mana enchantment that says 0, remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. So the way you've been able to do it, or the way you've always been able to do it, but the easy read on that is, oh, I can just pull a creature out of combat after it gets blocked. No damage is taken. It's really good in decks that have attacking triggers. But now it has the reminder text of, if you activate during the end of combat, the creature will untap after it deals combat damage. So that's always been the sneaky mode, is my creatures all have vigilance. And they're finally printing that on there and not having to make it a if you know, you know kind of thing. So really happy with Wizards for both printing it at uncommon and putting reminder text for that weird
feel like
trick.
I have to remind myself how that card works every single time.
Oh, it's so weird.
Crazy.
But
Sweet.
anyway, that's
Sweet reprint.
some really good, valuable reprints in this set.
Yeah, there's even just some like lower end ones as well, right? With like the potential openable of Rome Cityscape Scene. There's the cycle of 5 Horizon lands that you can open in these packs as well. There's also Sword of Feast and Famine and Light and Shadow. I actually missed that one from preview. I didn't realize Sword of Light and Shadow was a previewed card as part of that. So
Good stuff.
Assassin's Trophy, really good stuff. Yeah, there's some great reprints in here. But we are here to tell you about some of the exciting brand new cards that come from this, which obviously as large of a franchise as Assassin's Creed has been over the almost maybe 15 years, I think the games have been a thing.
Assassin's Creed, the original video game, was released in November 2007.
Ooh,
So,
boy.
15
Little low.
years.
Hey, I nailed that spot on. Fantastic.
You got that.
Excellent.
The Oracle strikes back. Nothing is safe.
Nothing escapes him.
The hidden blade. The blade of the library.
You are universes beyond.
Nice. Would anybody like to take a legendary creature first to talk about?
Jared, why don't you take us away, brother?
Let's go. I picked, well, some would probably consider just like a pretty normal legendary creature, Cassandra Eaglebear. It's 1 in Boros, so red-white, with haste for a 2/2 legendary creature, human assassin warrior. It has, when Cassandra enters the battlefield, search your graveyard, hand, and library for a card named Spear of Leonidas, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And whenever a creature you control with a legendary equipment attached to it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So she's setting herself up to be a draw engine immediately.
You love an equipment commander.
Dude, I do. I think it's like there's something nostalgic for me with that. Like,
Yeah.
my very first Magic experience was like mono red aggro, not really mono red burn. And for that, like, that's like combat tricks and like hasty creatures just swinging in for fast damage. And Voltron, like Boros Voltron, I think is like the, like, what's left over from that like play style, I think,
Right.
or like what that version of play is in Commander. So I don't know. There's just something nostalgic there for me. So some cool cards from this set that you can play in the 99.
Well, real quick, what's the Spear of Leonidas?
Oh yeah, I should read that off.
Yeah, that's worth bringing up as like if you were be playing this as your commander, this is kind of the second
Secret
half
partner?
of what your commander actually does. Yeah.
This is like honestly such an upside too to playing this because you get to just put this 3 CMC equipment on the battlefield without paying any extra mana.
Oh, wow.
for it.
Yeah. Straight on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, not attached to anything, granted, but you're in the colors that have that sort of like I cheat this onto my creature for free effect, right?
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, you could very well have something else already on the board that allows you to just put it on there and swing. Like Sigarda's 8, I think. It's like 1 white for that. So,
Yep.
Dude, did I just see into the future and grab that card out of the...
Oracle, dude. I'm so proud
Wow.
of you.
Oh my God. Wow.
All right.
That's what hanging out with.
Anyway, Spear of Leonidas. It's 2 and a red for legendary artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, choose 1. Bull Rush. It gains double strike until end of turn. Summon. Create Phobos, the legendary 3/2 red horse creature token. And Revelation. Discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. So you get to choose one of those modes every time the creature equipped with this attacks. which is this is just great. Double strike is so oppressive. I don't know if y'all know that, but it's really hard to deal with that.
Well,
so
especially
just
on Cassandra too, because she has a when it deals combat damage to a player trigger.
exactly.
So if you just throw that on Cassandra and attack with it, base
Draw
there, like in a vacuum, is going to be draw 2 cards.
Yeah, so it makes that even better, and that's all for 3 mana, which is pretty nuts. There's a 2 equip cost for that, but you're already on like turn 3 or 4 by that point, so you can definitely pay that.
Very interesting. Neither herself or the spear gives any kind of power and toughness boost.
Yeah, but that's good. There's tons of other stuff that's better and already exists. But I did highlight some other neat cards. Bureau Headmaster. This is one of those reducers we were talking about. It's red-white for a creature human assassin, 2/2. It just says equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and then equip abilities cost 1 less to activate for you.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Easy.
you're already getting cost reducers. That's at 2 CMCs. You just play that on turn 2, play your commander on turn 3, then you're good to go. Smoke Bomb is sick. This card is so cool. It might be my like flavor favorite from the
Dude,
set.
I was going to talk about this later.
So, do you mind if I talk about it now? I don't want to
Do
steal
it,
your.
dude.
So
You're in the power seat.
All right, I'm going to smoke bomb you guys right now. Why is that so stupid?
You wanted to talk about smoke bomb? Too bad. Smoke bomb.
So 3 mana for an artifact with flash. All creatures have shroud. So that's like the coolest thing I've ever seen. That's
the coolest line of text.
That's so awesome. And then it says at the beginning of your upkeep, you sacrifice Smoke Bomb. When you do, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. This is just like the most flavorful card I have ever seen in my life.
Yes.
So
Such
good.
protection, too.
Yeah.
Just like, even if you were to play this on your end step or something, that means that no creatures can be targeted by anything until your next turn.
That's so crazy. That's so
It even
sick.
affects other creatures that come down after you play it because it's just there.
Also,
Yeah, that makes it a lot better than some of those other like mass battlefield wide effects that say like creatures gain blah 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 until end of turn. You know what I mean?
Or like Dress Down, which is a flash enchantment that says all creatures lose abilities, but then it sacrifices at the next end step. So like this just like boop hits there. And then like God forbid if you're playing any like artifact recursion or anything, like and you could just bring it back. Everything has shroud again.
dude, and you absolutely could, definitely.
Yeah. Easy.
It also, notably, it's an artifact. There's a lot of historic synergy in this set, too. So being an artifact is an upside, because this could easily have been, like, an instant. So I'm glad they made it an artifact. Brotherhood Regalia, it's 2 mana for an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has Ward 2, is an assassin in addition to its other types, and can't be blocked. Equipped legendary creature for 1, and then regular creatures, it's equipped for 3. This is just a great way to protect your commander that comes within the set. There are other cards like Mithril Coat that are like god tier doing this, but hey, we take what we get.
I read this more as an equipment that you're going to be wanting to put on a legendary creature that wants to go swinging as more than just protection. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
In my mind, it's a replacement for Whisper Silk Cloak.
Yeah.
Because it's cheaper. It comes in, it attaches itself.
There's a lot of cards that also care about assassins in this set, and it making something into one is great.
Yeah.
And then I think last card I'll talk about here. Well, I'll mention this quickly, and then I'll mention a legendary creature that can go in this deck. Battlefield Improvisation. So it's 1 and a white for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. And if that creature is attacking, you may attach any number of equipment you control to it. So this is just a way to alpha strike someone out of nowhere.
What a blowout after I declare no blocks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Shall I say this
Oops.
is where you assassinate
2
someone?
2 points bigger, and then
Yeah, you just trick someone. They're like, "There's no way one creature will hurt me like that," and then you do.
Just a quick note with that card and one of the other ones you talked about earlier, the Bureau Headmaster. Both of those are just in the starter kit. These cards are not in the set.
Oh, cool! It did get more confusing.
Yeah, yay!
Nice.
I definitely knew that the whole time I was talking about them.
Yeah, I mean, there are still cards you can acquire. You just buy these or buy the starter kit, whatever. But just that's an important note for anybody who is interested in these. They are part of the red-white half of the starter kit.
Nice.
Last card I'll talk about here, then I'll pass the torch. Sinu, Keen-Eyed Protector. So it's 1 and a white for a legendary creature. Bird Scout 2/1. This card is sick. I love it. I don't know if it's good, but I think it's cool.
Tell me about
I'm
it, bro.
stoked about it. It has flying and vigilance. You can tap it to exile itself, which gains you 2 life, and then you scry 2. Its second ability, when a legendary creature you control attacks and isn't blocked, if Sinu is exiled, put it onto the battlefield attacking. So he just gets to fly around and has built-in evasion. Like, he can just respond himself to anything that tries to remove him. That's insane.
So good.
It's just a bird, but you get to scry 2 and gain 2 life like every turn, which is not bad. And I just love it because the flavor for a bird being able to do that is really cool.
So cool.
Yeah, just like sending him away, go scout for me, and then come back in. Woo.
Yeah, very neat. I just
Birds and hawks and eagles and stuff like that. They're all very like iconic symbology amongst all of the Assassin's Creed games.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so being able to like fly out, scout, come back, such neat flavor.
All right, so what are you guys building out of this Assassin's
John, you want me
Creed?
to take it?
Yeah, go ahead, because I mean it's probably no secret who I'll be talking about. So why don't you talk about something a bit more interesting before me?
Cool. Well, y'all know that I am a Dirty Grixis player. So I've been eating well in this set, let me say. So there's a new pirate commander on the block, which there's a pretty desperate need for. There's been some decent pirate commanders here and there, like Beckett Brass is cool, but it does the reanimation thing. It's more of a reanimator than it is a pirate commander. And then they made like Francisco Foul Marauder, which has partner, but then no way to partner it with an is it like pirate. So you have to do like Crom or something, like just to have the color identity.
Absolute flavor fail.
Complete flavor fail. So Edward Kenway is a new Grixis pirate commander. It costs 2 in Grixis colors, which is blue, black, and red, for a 5/5 legendary creature, human, assassin, pirate. At the beginning of your end step, you make a treasure token for each tapped assassin, pirate, and or vehicle under your control. So, whoa.
Pretty good.
First of all, that's crazy. And then whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, you look at the top card of that player's library, exile it face down, you get to play it for as long as it remains exiled. So you're stealing things, you're playing pirate ships, you're attacking and crewing pirate ships. This seems so cool. I can't even begin to fathom that like they've finally given us a flavorful pirate commander that like I just get to play pirate ships, I get to make treasure, and I get to steal things from people. This is so sick. Cool. So I'm very excited about this. There's a couple of really cool legendary pirate ships that they've put out in this set as well. First one I want to talk about is the Jackdaw. Not the Jackdaw. It's just called Jackdaw. It's 1 blue and a red for a vehicle. It's a 4/4 with crew 3. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may discard your hand. If you do, draw a card for each artifact you control. I don't think this is made for me. It wheels, it cares about artifacts, it's a vehicle. Something that's neat with Edward Kenway is he's kind of encouraging you not necessarily to attack with your pirates, but to tap them to crew things. So what's cool with the Jackdaw here is if you have like 3 1/1 pirates, you're going to tap those 3 to crew them, swing with the Jackdaw, probably discard your hand, draw some cards, and then at your end step, you now have 4 4 different things that are going to trigger Edward Kenway. So you'll have 3 tapped pirates and 1 tapped vehicle. So you'll just make 4 treasures on your end step and a vehicle that dealt combat damage to something. So the way I read it, you want your pirates to be crewing, not necessarily attacking. A couple other cool things that are being printed into this set. The Ardestria. I feel like John when we did the Lord of the Rings video with all of these names. So Ardestria is it's a 3-drop. It's just 3 generic mana for a vehicle. It's a 4/3 with Island Walk. And whenever it attacks, if an assassin crewed it this turn, draw a card, and then Ardestria becomes an assassin in addition to its other types until end of turn. And as crew 1. So a 3-drop 4/3 with crew 1 that has Island Walk is going to trigger your Edward Kenway 3 different ways to Sunday.
As we don't know what happened. The boat just snuck up on us.
I know. I genuinely really want to build this deck because I love pirates. I love the vehicles. I think is still one of the most underused card types in Magic. I think it's so flavorful to be playing these things that need creatures to do them. I've wanted to play a vehicle deck for a while, and this is probably the direction that I'll go. Also, I have a Grixis shaped hole in my commander bag.
Might be perfect.
Last couple of things with the pirate ships deck are Adwale, Breaker of Chains.
Sorry, can I get that one more time?
Adwale, Breaker of Chains is 1 blue and a black for a 4/1 legendary creature, human, assassin, pirate. When it enters the battlefield, you reveal the top 6 cards of your library. You put an assassin, a pirate, or a vehicle from among them into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library. And then whenever a vehicle you control deals combat damage to a player, you get to return it from your graveyard to your hand. So this is a really great attacker. This is a really great blocker. 4 power is going to crew so many vehicles and then just give you a ton of extra value on top of that. And then, again, it's an assassin, which is helpful to crew like the Ardestria. Last one as well is Mary Reed and Anne Bonny. It's 1 blue and a red for a 3/3 legendary creature, human, assassin, pirate with haste, and it can tap to draw a card and discard a card. And then whenever you discard an island, pirate, or a vehicle, you make a tapped treasure token. So this is just some glue that's going to keep this deck rolling. So many options. This feels like a really versatile deck that's going to be able to have a bunch of different plays and is going to play out in a couple of different ways on your turn. So having the option with something like Mary Reed and Anne Bonny to either attack with it, crew a vehicle because it's got 3 power, or just draw a discard, make some tapped treasure tokens. This is an unbelievably exciting deck.
It's like a tongue twister. Tap treasure.
Yeah. And man, I've been missing out on having a really flavorful deck that's also fun and powerful. And that's exactly what Edward Kenway feels like to me. Where this feels like what a pirate deck should do. It should be crewing vehicles and pillaging.
Dockside leans around.
Yar.
Yeah. Let alone, yes, Dockside notably is a pirate. I would not be throwing Dockside Extortionist into this deck. I want this to be a fun deck. This does not feel like a Power 7 deck. This feels like I'm playing this. I'm playing some pirates. Maybe I'll steal some things. We're going to have some fun. Yeah. So notably, I think it's worth noting for Edward Kenway, his ability isn't exactly like Gonti's on the end. So he steals creatures, he steals the top card of your opponent's library. You cannot spend mana as though it were mana of any color to play that spell, but that just correlates to him being able to make treasures. So you shouldn't have any problem making the correct mana for your opponent's spells. Anyway, that's Edward Kenway, and that's what I'm excited about. Yarhar Assassins.
Yo ho ho. Yeah, no, that's really cool that they made Edward in such a way there that very, very powerful, I would say, for the specific theme of playing pirates or whatever, Black Flag is considered very, very high up there in the really, really good Assassin's Creed games.
Dude,
so it's glad to see, not disrespecting on any of the other games and characters who are represented within this set as a whole. It just, I know when it comes to people's feelings about where Assassin's Creed was and where it's going, I know lots of people really enjoyed Black Flag for the change in pace that it brought to the table.
Oh, yes.
It's super cool that all of the games have had a vast array of representation amongst their characters and the themes that every single one of these games brought to the table. But even most likely, like, I guess maybe not a casual per se, but anybody who is like perhaps like known what Assassin's Creed is or was or whatever, chances are they know of who Ezio Auditore di Firenze is or was, right?
Hit me with that one more time.
Hit me with that one more time.
Yes, the name.
Ezio Auditore di Firenze.
Perfect.
Nicely done.
Yeah. There's a reason he got 3 games. You know, they're like 2 Brotherhood, Revelation. To me, personally, peak Assassin's Creed. I know that's, you know, the Buzz Lightyear meme along the wall of like, gosh, I love Assassin's Creed. And you just talk about
your brave takes.
I know, brave hot takes, but he's likable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Altair kind of was a bit of a jerk for most of his game. And then like post 3 forward, everyone else had like some brand new identity to their whole thing or whatever. Like Ezio's whole story arc that he goes through across his 3 games is so cool. So I'm very glad that he's got like this super cool version of the card here. He actually has there's a couple other ones between the starter kit and there's another like uncommon Ezio that's in the set as well. But I'm going to be talking about his main mythic, technically Wooburg for commander color identity, but he casts for he casts for black normally. So the creature card, 1 and a black, he's a 3/2 legendary human assassin. Menace, assassin spells you cast have free running black, and when he deals combat damage to a player, you may pay Wooburg if you do, you can pay Wooburg if that player has 10 or less life, and when you do, that player loses the game.
Yeah.
So a brief real quick for what free running is. Free running is a alternate casting cost that you can gain or be given to certain spells in the case of Ezio or other cards like throughout this booster set have on it naturally. They have a alternate cost and they say you can cast the spell for its free running cost if you have dealt combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or a commander. That's very important that that's there. So you are not
glad they did that.
Yeah, you're not limited.
Glad.
Yeah, you're not limited to just assassin decks to potentially use these kinds of cards that have free running on them. So any legendary creature deck that you could think of that focuses on connecting your commander to somebody, you've got access to these free running cards, basically. And Ezio is real sweet here as well. So like within this main set you've got a variety, again, spanning every game, Altair all the way up to, I believe, whoever that pro tag is of Mirage, I think is all represented here. Every single one of them. If you connect with Ezio or any other assassin, I suppose, you start laying down all these assassins. They're dealing combat damage to at least somebody. Now the assassins in your hand have free running for black. You can get down people like Edward and Altair, and I'm not even going to attempt to try to pronounce 3's
Connor.
pro tag. Connor.
It's Connor.
All of them just now come down for black, which is crazy good. You know what I mean?
That's
just
pretty incredible.
Yeah, and they all gain it for the turn, you know what I mean? So you build up your mana, and then you could just go black, cast this one, black, cast this one. Wow, that's super cool.
Like a sick like mono black 5-color deck.
It is, yeah. If you just generally focus this on just like you can include all of your favorite 5-color, like all your favorite legendary or even non-legendary assassin friends into this deck with Ezio, which is even cool that he comes down super cheap. He's only 1 and a black himself to cast. Yeah. So even when you start getting commander tax applied to him as well, he can still come down for like 4 mana if he dies once already. And then once you start exploring your options outside of this booster set, outside of this set as well, you start thinking of things as like, ooh, what big dumb changelings can I get down for black? You know what I mean? You know who's real stupid to have down on turn 3? Morophon.
Oh,
More fun naming assassin. Now your free running is
just cost black.
Now your free running costs black and your assassins are bigger.
If you go like turn 1 Changeling Outcast, I think he's got the most to gain here. Turn 1 Changeling Outcast, it's a 1/1 that can't block and can't be blocked with Changeling. Turn 2 Ezio, that's turn 3. You've got free running on lock. Like,
you got it.
Crazy good. Let alone like you can play Dark Ritual in your 5-color deck, and it's unbelievable. This is so sick.
It's very cool. Yeah, it's a different interpretation of mono Wooburg commanders that we've seen before, right? Like every single one of us here has experienced a Kenrith at some point, right?
But see, that's just pure 5-color. This is really a black deck that happens to have some benefit of 5-color.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's so cool because it gives you the ability to splash any of the other assassins, which is also sick.
Yeah, and which for a completely like 180 on if you're interested in how to build this thing, if you would like to try to capitalize more on that, being able to pay Wooburg and kill somebody below 10, throw this in with because you have access to all 5 colors, so you can play any single one of these. There's a wide variety of artifact, equipments, and enchantments that grant creatures the ability of when they connect with somebody, they lose half their life. Rounded down. That's the fastest way to drain somebody from 40 to 10 to the best of your capability. You know what I mean? So like Quiet as Spike and Friends. Yeah, there are seriously 2 very fun different build directions that you could take Ezio in. The more just, I mean, for lack of a better term, this is your assassin tribals commander, basically. Your kindred, excuse me. Or do the funny like drain you below 10 or, you know, cheating in changelings. So like there's a lot of very fun directions you could take this guy in.
Yeah, it's almost like a Satoru Umezawa deck that is like wider. Like it's sort of built the same way, but like you can't exactly do like the Blightsteel Colossus thing unless you have like a Maskwood Nexus or, you know, anything like that in play, or Conspiracy or whatever the other one is. Yeah. If you're playing those, then you could build this like a Satoru Umezawa deck and just have a cheaper version of him. What I do really like about free running is it feels like they kind of fixed ninjutsu. Because ninjutsu is really confusing. I actually just had to explain how ninjutsu works to somebody who was learning the game for the first time, and I really was struggling with like, well, okay, but you attack with the creature, so it's not blocked yet, but it doesn't actually become unblocked until after the declare blockers step and all this stuff. Whereas free running kind of does a similar thing, except it's like, here's the condition for it. Enjoy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love free running as a mechanic. I think it's great.
Yeah. Really cool.
It is interesting that it comes on both creature and non-creature spells. Let's just point that out, by the way. There's a variety of cards in this booster set that, like, especially like the cycle of, like, I think some of them are instants. Most of them are sorceries, though. The things like Restart Sequence that has free running as well. If you cast it normally as is, it's a 4 mana reanimates a creature. But if you're able to get it down to its free running, it's 1 in a black reanimates a creature. Or, like, my personal favorite, I don't know if it's any good, but the viewpoint synchronization, it's normal casting cost is 4 in a green, but if you can free run it, it gets down to 2 in a green, and it searches your library for up to 3 basic land cards and reveal them. 2 of them go into the battlefield tapped, and the other goes into your hand.
Yeah,
so
dude.
good.
Yeah.
I think that card's cool.
You were talking Changeling Outcast earlier. You get him down before your turn 3, and if you're able to connect with it by turn 3, you've now got yourself a souped up explosive vegetation.
Yep.
Honestly.
Unbelievably cool. I really like Escape Detection. This was the free running card that kind of spoke to me the most because it's free. So it's 1 blue and a blue for an instant that says return target creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. But the free running is just return a blue creature you control to its owner's hand. So obviously you get to cast a spell for its free running cast if you have dealt combat damage with an assassin or the commander. So if you play something like a Hookblade Veteran on turn 1, notably from the starter kits, not from the booster packs, which is a 1 mana Human Assassin. It's 1/2. It gains flying on your turn. You hit in with that. You then can cast the God, what was that spell called?
Avoid detection.
Escape detection.
Escape
You can
detection.
cast escape detection for free. Bounce that guy back to your hand. Bounce something of your opponent's back to your hand, back to their hand, and then draw a card. That's a huge play.
Dude. Also, I feel like you could use the casting cost, like the free casting cost of that spell as an evasion.
Yeah, because it's an instant.
Yeah, you could literally, like, that's an upside in certain scenarios.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
sick.
yeah, yeah. This
That's
is just
so
like
cool.
rule in Magic. If something says to bounce something of your own to your hand, I know it reads like a downside, but every single time it's a feature, not a bug. I promise you.
Yeah, that's
See,
great.
see example, Gush.
Yes. See Gush. See any of the bounce lands.
That is really
Anyway.
cool.
Love that, love that. But so a whole free running style deck with Ezio would be tons of fun.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some of the other interesting cards that you could throw into this deck as well that just don't necessarily care about his free running aspect or like the draining down or whatever. These are just general purpose, really good cards that you could throw in his deck as well. I wanted to talk about Bleeding Effect as a super cool enchantment. I love this. It's wordy, but I'll try to go through it here real quickly. It's 2 white and a black for an enchantment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures, all of them, you control gain flying until end of turn if a creature card in your graveyard has flying. And the same is true for, listen to the soup now, First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Trample, Vigilance.
Yeah. You love keyword soup.
Keyword soup effects like these, yeah, they are so incredibly cool. And being able to grant those keyword effects to your board after things that have already left your board are in the graveyard, that is a huge comeback swing that you can do, especially after a board of yours has been wrathed, right? How quickly in a commander game are you trying to establish yourself all of your really strong creatures out the gate, and then the first wrath of the game happens?
Yep.
All of your good stuff is now in the graveyard. You've got to do your digging to try and rebuild from the ground up again. With Bleeding Effect, now all the creatures that you have post that first wrath are now going to be gaining themselves every important keyword that has been sent to your graveyard.
So good.
That's awesome. So
We
good.
love protection like that.
Yeah, like all those coming from your graveyard, and then this effect itself coming on an enchantment makes it much harder to stop than like some of your other keyword soup enablers like a Chroma or crap, what's his face? The soldier.
Audric,
Audric. Yeah.
Audric, thank you. Audric. I always just
Jared.
Marshall.
you got me. I always just call him soup, so
Yeah.
I'm on a different
Superman.
level right now.
but yeah, I like Bleeding Effect a lot. And then another interesting one you could throw into there if your assassins lean more into being a bunch of the legendary assassins would be this, I don't know if it's good bounce spell called Desynchronization. Is 2 double blue for an instant. Important. You return each non-land permanent that's not historic to its owner's hand. His historic, as a reminder, are cards that are artifacts, legendaries, or sagas.
I like that this is an instant. I didn't read that on the first go through. I don't like that it only returns non-historic things, just with the state of Commander right now, where it's basically every deck is a Legendary Matters deck. It also does not bounce treasures, and it does not bounce clues.
No, it does not bounce any of those. But at this cost, like, would it have been too strong if it could?
Probably.
Like-
I wish it said non-token, non-land, non-historic permanents.
That would just be way too many words on it then at that
True.
point then, I know. But
Anyway.
like, I don't know. If your deck is heavy in the historic theme, right? Is like if every permanent that you would put down in play is either an artifact or a legendary, I'm
Yeah.
sure you could get something out of this because like
Joyla
who's
Weatherlight Captain loves this card.
exactly, and like
there's places for this.
like how many decks still get hosed by things like Urza's Ruinous Blast? Like I know that hits artifacts, which I know is a big deterring point here.
That's the thing is I've played that card a lot and I've been pretty disappointed every time I cast it.
Mm.
Where like it just never is going to get you the thing that you want to get rid of. But who knows?
Yeah, I think a card like this one is going to be meta dependent, right? Like if you are the heavy mono blue artifact thing and you're running into constant token decks, especially maybe, this is a house against tokens.
Sure is.
Or anything that is doing like non-legendary based like creature synergy types, you know what I mean? So like general purpose elves especially are not cramming tons of legendaries in there. They're looking to do mana dorks and tokens, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So this has utility against certain varieties of decks, but I don't know if it's good everywhere. So exiting outside of the assassin style deck, the last kind of like card from the main set here that I'm interested to talk about is because this is a very notable one to bring up that is part of this main set. We have a completion of in all the colors of relentless creatures. Finally.
Yeah. We always wondered what the white one was going to be.
Yeah, it's very interesting that we get Universes Beyond to be the card that brings this to us. So these kinds of ones are always super interesting and notable to talk about because A, at usually lower rarities, they are cards that retain a bit of a higher price point. And B, these styles of decks are very interesting and fun to talk about for Commander's sake because they're the one exception to the one card per name in your deck. And so Templar Knight from this set is 1 and a white for a 3/1 human knight with vigilance that for a white mana and tapping 5 untapped attacking creatures you control named Templar Knight, search your library for a legendary artifact card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And the text of a deck can have any number of cards named Templar Knight. So the reading on this here is kind of similar to like what Shadowborn Apostles would be, right? Where you need a specific number of them to meet a particular condition. And in this case here, you have to be swinging with 5 of them at least. And then they become tapped. And then you get any legendary artifact directly into play.
It's kind of crazy.
It is. It
jump through.
It's pretty. It is a lot of hoops, but middle of combat, grab whatever legendary artifact you think is going to be most useful to you if you've built them into your deck the right way. Like that's pretty nutty.
What's the
Portal
best
to
one?
Phyrexia?
Oh, yeah. Is that legendary?
It's not legendary. No,
What?
it's not.
Oh,
So like Magic, why is that card not
No,
legendary?
but you know who is legendary? Graz, the unstoppable juggernaut.
that's a great one to grab.
Surprise! All of your knights are now 5/3s.
Right.
That's
The
kind
obvious answer too is that Thrumming Stone is a legendary artifact. But
Yes.
come on, you don't want to do that. I promise.
Oh, I want to
don't
do
wanna
that. What are you talking about? Yeah, Thrumming Stone is the obvious
Sure,
choice.
get all of your Knight Templars out of your deck, and then I can board wipe you. And then
Yeah.
what are you going to do? Cry? What are you?
No, I say actually probably the best one you probably would want to go grab middle of combat is probably a Chroma's Memorial. That one's real good. That's very good in any combat style deck. The Immortal Sun would probably also be a very good choice as well. Like there's
Commander we're playing with this. Is it mono white?
you probably would have to have something that is mono white, I'd say. But this is what I was
You're playing so much white with the soldiers that
Yeah.
you probably need it to be.
This was an interesting one I was going to get to as well. This could be a very interesting relentless style deck that you throw it into a two-color shell, because once you start playing these into a different color combination, that now opens you up then to any other legendary artifact that could potentially be in a color outside of white. One that came to mind probably I think would end up being the best is probably black, I'd say. Because that opens you up to the tutors that can then grab as many copies of these as you want out of your deck. And then it opens you to really powerful legendary black artifacts like Bolas's Citadel.
Yeah,
Bolas's Citadel, Whip of Erebos, I thought was also a very interesting one as well. Yeah, that's legendary.
Templars around.
You got it.
You could go red with like Embercleave. That'd be kind of sick.
Oh yeah,
Sun
just middle
Porter.
of combat, just go and grab an Embercleave.
Yeah.
Whoop, surprise! This Templar is really, really strong.
Ooh, honestly, this would be a cool deck to play, like with your Cassandra Eaglebearer, and
Yes.
just play a bunch of legendary, equipment or legendary artifacts like Graz, and play where you're like just using all of your knights to both get equipped and play, and then if they deal damage, you're gonna draw cards off of them.
Yeah.
This is cool. I like white red, or we could go Mardu.
Ooh.
Mardu
That'd
Knights.
be a
Mardu Knights.
fun deck.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But this is again, I just wanted to bring this last card up as just something. This is a very interesting one to note about because
Check me out.
people
5
really
color Shadowborn. I'm slime.
We're gonna use Ezio, and we're gonna play all of the different, relentless.
Step 1, Ezio. Step 2, Maskwood Nexus. Step 3, free run all of your Templars.
Step.
So you can play black instead of 1 white.
Then you draw a Dragon's Approach because you forgot you were building a meme deck and you cry.
Right.
You forgot to put dragons in your
That's
deck.
so funny. All right. Well, Jared, starting with you, let me just get your kind of parting thoughts as we're running out of time here on this set as a whole.
I think this set is really cool. Like I said earlier, I wish this set could be drafted because it looks like so cohesive and fun to just play inside of itself. And I'm excited to get these cards in my hands and use them in real games because they look very fun and give me they scratch the nostalgic itch, but they also seem to be keeping up with power levels of current Magic. So excited about it.
Totally. John, thoughts?
I mean, I'm sure I've made it no secret that I am a very big fan. I have been for quite a long time of the Assassin's Creed as a franchise. So yes, obviously, I'm very excited about this. This is so cool to me that this is one of the first like purchasable Universes Beyond boosters that like I'm into. You know what I mean, right? Like I had to kind of learn my way up from Lord of the Rings. I had to learn things about like Fallout and
Literally had to call in reinforcements for Fallout.
We did.
Right.
Yeah, we learned it's like a franchise. Like, I know there were Transformer cards from a while back as well, but like they were not as expansed as this is. I like this kind of direction with what Universes Beyond stuff is trying to be, where like we're gonna take a variety from this franchise and try to expand its universe, its story into as many cards as possible, as compared to like those booster inserts that they did for Jurassic Park and Transformers, or a Secret Lair like what they did with Tomb Raider and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like fully fledged, so it's nice.
Yeah.
To have that.
People like us who have been enfranchised into whatever IP they choose to go with is like, hey, you look at this reference they made here. Look how this character's mechanics fleshes out into gameplay for our favorite card game. Objectively, you know. And I'm a big fan. I'm planning. I've been dawdling on the fence if maybe this is something that maybe I'm gonna try to go for like a set completion of. I'm really feeling compelled. I want to try to do that for the first time of something like this, and I think
huge impact on you.
It would, yeah. And you know, I've gone on record before to say like I'm grabbing Ezio. I'm going to be building a deck with him. I'm probably going to try and grab that scenes version as well, because that's Rome Cityscape thing is
Very
just
cool.
it's beautiful. But
Dude.
yeah, I'm a big fan of how this turns out. Now we'll have to see when it comes to actually purchasing these boosters to see if cost or them like really dialing back the sort of ratio of how often more rares show up in your packs or whatever. Like this could still be a feels bad purchasing experience like how Aftermath was, but I have confidence that the formula has been changed enough that this is going to be something that people are going to want to purchase frequently.
Yeah. I think I'm with you guys on the feel of the set. I'm with you on the cohesion, all of that. The one thing that I just can't get past is the Beyond Boosters thing. I think that they're making a mistake. This is me going on record. I think that the Beyond Boosters thing is a mistake. My personal advice would be to not buy booster packs of this so that Wizards doesn't get the idea that they can just keep cutting booster packs in half for the same price. So I would say, for what I would personally do is wait, let the LGSs open the booster packs, let the sellers on TCG Player open the booster packs, take that hit, and then just buy the singles from this set. It's going to be way cheaper, and you're not going to spend. I think they're roughly $10 for a pack. It's somewhere between $7 and $10 for a pack of 7 cards. That is half the number of cards as Modern Horizons, but for the same price. So this is a pretty dangerous precedent for Wizards to be setting with how they're starting to do product and starting to roll out product, especially with how poorly the Aftermath set did. So that's my soapbox that I'm going to part on. Is this is a very important set to buy singles from, to let Wizards know that we love these cards, but we hate these packs. That is my soapbox.
Nicely done.
That,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
I agree.
that.
All right.
To the listeners, what's your thoughts on the set? We'd love to hear. Leave us a comment down below. What are some cool cards that we didn't talk about in this? Also, jump in our Discord and let's get the conversation going about a lot of these assassins.
Join our
cards.
Brotherhood.
Yes, join the Brotherhood of the Assassins, and we can chat there and build some decks together. Thanks for watching.
Bomb you on spell table.
Yes, sir. Thanks for watching so much. Again, leaving us likes and comments just warms all of our hearts. I love checking all those notifications. And we will see you next time on the MTG Thoughtcast.